Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Soulful Sessions with Rory, the podcast where we dive deep into the matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. I'm your host, Rory, and I'm thrilled to embark on this soulful journey with each and every one of you. Soulful Sessions is your safe space for introspection, inspiration, and maybe even a little revelation. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee, winding down after a long day, or just seeking a moment of connection, you're in the right place. Before we dive into today's soulful exploration, I want to remind you that Soulful Sessions with Rory is designed for entertainment purposes only. While we may touch on profound topics and meaningful discussions, it's important to approach our conversations with an open heart and a sense of curiosity. Life is a journey, and so is this podcast. We'll navigate the realms of self-discovery, spirituality, and personal growth. But remember, the insights we share here are not a substitute for professional advice or guidance. Always consult with the appropriate professionals regarding your unique circumstances. So whether you're a seasoned seeker or just dipping your toes into the waters of self-exploration, get ready for a blend of wisdom, laughter, and a touch of magic in each episode of Soulful Sessions with Rory. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a soulful moment. Follow me on social media, IG, Soulful Explorer, Facebook, Listening Veteran Life Coach, and Snapchat, Rory Soulful Explorer, to stay connected, share your thoughts, and be a part of this incredible community. Now, let the journey begin. Sit back, relax, and let's fill our souls together. Today's soulful episode, expecting you from others. Now, I know that probably resonated with a lot of people, but when you say expecting you from others, what I mean by that is when you're in a situation with anybody, you expect them to treat you like you treat them. It's the tendency to expect others to act like us. Like if you're a nice person, you're going to do nice things for people. If you're giving, loving, caring, if you're compassionate, you have a selflessness about you, and you're considerate. I've heard people say, well, you know what? I came into work and that person didn't speak to me. So, I'm not going to speak to them. Or, I'm not calling you if you don't call me. I'm not reaching out to you if you don't reach out to me. So we have this thing where we're expecting people to act as we act. I get that you're giving, and I get that you demand a certain, dare I say, respect. And we'll go into what I think the respect illusion is. And I've had people tell me, well, Rory, it's not an illusion. It's real. Respect is da 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 da. But we'll get into that. So why do we have these expectations? This quid pro quo, yep, I said a quid pro quo from the subconsciousness. The quid pro quo, if you're not familiar, it's like one hand washes the other. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Now, you may not see it like that, and I get that. And, I don't knock you for that. But ultimately, that's what you're saying. I'm not a good person unless you're a good person. Or dare I say that we do this out of validation? Because if we're being nice to people, then people should be nice to us. So is that our reason for being nice to people? And what if it's a self-esteem issue? You think that, you may want people to like you. And you show this by doing things, and you expect them to do it back because that's how they'll show you that they like you. It's kind of unfair to yourself, but I can tell you that, this probably came from just maybe some things that happened in your childhood. We're taught that if we do good things will happen. I mean, it's easy. Clean your room. Clean your room, you get a treat. Clean your room, you get a reward. In some cases, clean your room and you won't get an ass whooping. That's a reward. But it's still quid pro quo. You do something for me, I'll do something for you. Hey, if you clean the house, we can go take a trip. And it becomes a subconscious thought where we feel that we'll be able to get something if we give something. Now, a lot of times we may not look at it like that. We may not think it's that way, but ultimately that's kind of what we're saying. Now, I will say that it should be expected for people to treat you nice. Now, your own expectation. Now, just because you expect it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Just because you desire it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So what I will say is, why shouldn't we expect others to act like we do? Well, is that truly realistic? I'll use something extreme. So if you are a nurse, let's say you're a nurse, and as a nurse, you can kind of tell when people have problems because you have a history of looking at people's medical problems. So you'll know just maybe by the way someone walk, by the way they move, if they got a fever, you can tell. You can literally diagnose a person based off of your experience. So if you're sick and you're having all these symptoms and someone you love or care about says nothing because you don't have these symptoms that they're familiar with, is it right to hold them accountable? Like, you couldn't tell I was sick? No, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I just thought you was coughing because you ate some Cheetos or something. You got some hot fries in your throat. So yes, that was an extreme example. But another one is, let's say you're a gift giver and you've given gifts at every birthday, Christmas, and you recognize no one gives you gifts. And now you're angry because you're saying to yourself, they don't love me, they don't like me because they didn't get me anything. Now, I could go off into the love languages and, how people desire to be loved compared to how people love you. And though that's a different subject, but I'm going to touch on it just a little bit. If your love language is gift giving, that means you like to give gifts and you like to receive gifts. So when people don't give you gifts, then technically they're not loving you the way that you desire to be loved. And you're expecting them to love you as you love them. And this can be in a romantic relationship or a platonic relationship. And in the platonic relationships, we kind of give people passes. You don't have to love me like I love you. You don't have to do as I do for you because I don't expect you to. But when it's romantic, we put these expectations on our partners and even our family members because familial love to me is different than simple love of a friend, unless you treat them like family. You know how that goes, but they're still not family by blood. And we do tend to have different expectations for them. So when we have that, it's almost like we're saying, I need you to love me the way that I want to be loved so I can feel valid. It's as simple as that. Validation. And, and I talked about respect earlier. Respect is another form of validation. Someone is praising you. Someone is telling you, I respect what you do or who you are. I value who you are and what you do. So that's the validation piece. And how it affects your self-esteem is because if you're not getting this validation from people, then your worth, your value to you is diminishing. And it's honestly not fair to you. One of the reasons we shouldn't do that is because we should be able to allow people to be themselves. We want people to be themselves, and we need to accept them for who they are. Now, what does that really mean? That means this person that never tells you happy birthday, this person that never gives you any kind of praise or accolades, this person that doesn't even seem like they're really on your team. You love them for a reason. You like them for a reason. Those aren't the reasons. So you can accept them for who they are and allow them to be in your corner in the fashion that they choose. Or you can try, I don't recommend it, to get them to love you the way you desire. Now, here's the thing about that. You can't control people. That doesn't even make sense, trying to control how somebody treats you, because they don't have to listen to you. But we'll get into that in a second too. Another thing is understanding that everyone is not a friend, nor are they meant to support you. Let me say that again for the people in the back row. Everyone is not your friend, and everyone is not meant to support you. So when you decide to put people in your life, and I'm saying even family members, they don't have to be the support you need. And some of them really are not your friends. They're just there to soak up your energy because you have good energy. You have great energy and they like being around you, but they don't want to contribute to your growth. They don't want to contribute to your cause. They don't want to contribute to you going into whatever phase or stage you're going into. They just want to reap the benefits and the rewards of being around you. And yes, it is okay to accept those kind of people. One of the most important reasons to me why you should not expect others to act like you is you don't need validation in order to be valid. No one has to tell you anything for you to be the person that you are. First, you have to decide, who do you want to be? You know, I'm very big on affirmations. I remember as a kid, my mom would have these sticky notes with affirmations all over the place. And I'll be honest, I hated the sticky notes. I hated them. They was all over the place. Sticky notes. This. I didn't understand that she was manifesting the person she desired to be. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that this was her way of reminding herself of who she was or who she wanted to be. So if you believe in you, if you accept yourself unconditionally, you don't need the validation. So that means at some point, you don't expect people to move like you move. You know, being in the military, you know, everybody's supposed to be the same to create order. Everyone's supposed to have similar knowledge or the same knowledge to create order, to be fluent. And, you know, till this day, I could be in a room full of people and I would know another veteran. Now, I've gotten it wrong sometimes, but I would say 9 times out of 10, I would know another veteran simply because of posture, the way they're acting in the room. And I expect that person to kind of think like I think, because when you share something for so long, the belief system kind of becomes the same. So when I talk to other veterans, we have the same ideas, the same beliefs, and a lot of us act the same way. And of course, there are the differences. So if you're a nurse, you could talk to other nurses who've worked in hospitals and have a conversation for hours. If you're a doctor, you know, if you're a criminal, you can talk to other criminals all day long and share stories. I know, right? Crime pays. Okay, it does not. Okay, depends on what you're doing. I'm just saying the PPP made me really debate on whether or not crime pays. Saying that people driving around, we ain't gonna go into that. That's a whole other story. So you should not expect others to act like you do. I feel like that is a road that takes you down a bitterness, because here's what we don't understand. The minute that you say, I'm not doing this because they didn't do it, you're allowing someone else to dictate to you who you are. If you're a gentle spirit, you're a gentle soul, be that. Don't let somebody else's selfishness, someone else's orneriness, someone else's whatever it is, change who you are. So what they didn't call you? So what they didn't show up to your graduation? So what they didn't show up to your wedding? You would have done it for them. And so what? Don't allow other people to change who you are, because what you're doing for everybody, I pray that you're not doing it for a reward. Because if you are, that's another topic, and that's something else we would have to discuss. I'm a nice person because I like to be a nice person. You don't have to be nice to me for me to be nice to you. You don't have to give to me in order for me to give to you. You know, I've had people say, you know, that person is taking advantage of you. You can't take advantage of someone who's a natural giver. I'm choosing to give to this person. Now, just because they don't see the value in the relationship, or they don't see the value in me, that's not a me problem, because I see the value in me. And everything that I do, I already know I'm going to be blessed. I know that I'm going to have a positive outcome regardless of who I help and how I help. See, because their spirit, their selfishness, their maliciousness, their manipulation, their deceit, that has nothing to do with me. And I don't care, because I didn't do it so that I can be rewarded by them. I didn't do it so that they can tell everybody in the world that, oh, Rory's great. He's this. Well, no, I didn't do that for them. I did it for me. I did it because it's part of my journey in helping people, my journey in being kind, considerate, and compassionate, my journey in being a better person for the planet, for the earth. That's why I did it. My compassion, my selflessness, my consideration, my ability to give has nothing to do with what I get in return. And yours shouldn't either. Just my opinion. You think what you want to think. People aren't taking advantage of you if you're a giver. People are just being themselves. Some people don't know how to accept your kindness. Some people don't know how to be selfless. Growing up, I was pretty selfish. And if I'm being honest, I'm still selfish. Yes, I give and I help people, but I help them according to how I want to help them. Some things I will not share. You know, like them little Swedish red fish, the little candies. I'm not sharing those. So don't ask. I mean, you can ask, but my answer is no. Those are mine. Okay? Thank you. I'm not sharing my chocolate covered almonds. Nope. Definitely not sharing my video game. Nope. Mm-mm. But the things I do share and the things I do give, I don't do it because I expect anything in return. Now, what do these expectations lead to when you have them? So when you are so kind, loving, and giving, and you've given of yourself, you've given your love, you've given your time, your energy, your money, and you don't get it in return. Those expectations can lead to hurt, anger, mistrust. But did these people really hurt you? Did they anger you? Because a lot of times when you're angry, you're just responding to your hurt, your pain. And it's manifesting as anger because anger makes you feel safe. Anger keeps people away from you. It makes people not want to talk to you. The mistrust. How could they? I gave them everything and they gave me nothing. Well, guess what? You cannot allow other people to control you. You can't allow them to control you with what they do or don't do for you. You are your own person. You don't need the validation. So whether or not they even say thank you after what you've done for them, it's okay. You have to control your hurt. My saying is, what hurts you doesn't have to control you. Well, I got one even better. What you can't control doesn't have to hurt you. So stop it. Stop looking for you in other people. Because that's what it leads to. It leads to the hurt, the pain, sometimes envy. You know, I remember saying, it seemed like all the bad people get in relationships. You know, the worst people. How could they? I'm a good person. Truth is, some of these relationships, you know, you wouldn't want because you know the people they're in relationships with. Be patient. What's for you is for you. Accept people for who they are. You can't expect you out of everybody. And it's okay. Now, I'm not saying don't have boundaries. I'm not saying don't just, expect for the people that you love to do things. Yeah, it's okay to expect it. But not to the point where it's controlling how you feel. And not to the point where you haven't taken the time to identify, who is this person to me? Who are they? And if they are who you think they are, then their behavior is not new. Their behavior is not a surprise. If you pay attention to the relationship you've had with these people for years sometimes, you will notice that, oh, this isn't new. They're being themselves. It's you that's different because you're expecting something that just does not exist. So truly, you're bringing hurt to yourself. You're bringing anger to yourself, the mistrust. So, how do we avoid feeling like people should behave as we do? How do we avoid expecting me from others? Remember this phrase, and you've probably heard it in my other podcasts that I've said. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody. Nobody owes you nothing. But even more importantly, you don't owe anybody anything. But don't allow them to change who you are because of their behavior or lack thereof. Now, if you're in a romantic relationship, yes, it's okay to have expectations. And yes, it's okay to tell your partner, hey, look, this is what I need from you in order for me to feel loved. I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying is that if that person doesn't do it, you don't need it. You may not need that person either. So, another thing, if you don't like the way someone is treating you, reevaluate the relationship and decide if you want this type of person in your life. To the left. Hit the road, Jack. Yes, I'm good. I love you. I care for you. I'm even going to do for you occasionally, but I realize I don't need you in my life. And this includes family. Nobody's impervious to your peace. You do what it takes. Accept people for who they are. And I've said this several times tonight. Accept them for who they are, because guess what? When you accept people for who they are, then you understand why they do or don't do the things that they do. Yep, I said that and it confused me too, but you know what I meant. In this journey that you're having, I want you to be able to approach new relationships with curiosity and an openness. Not expecting people to be like you, act like you, move like you. Allow them to be themselves. Allow them to have their own journey, because your journey is yours and their journey is theirs, and your truth is your truth and their truth is their truth. And it's okay. Love yourself unconditionally and know you are more than enough. When you understand who you are and that you're more than enough, you don't need anything from anybody. It's okay to want it. It's okay to receive it. But I need you to understand you don't need it. All the love, all the compassion, all the joy is inside of you. You should be your first love story. The validation comes from within. So validate yourself and keep it moving. Thank you, beautiful souls, for joining me today on another enlightening episode of Soulful Sessions with Rory. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might benefit as we navigate the depths of introspection and explore the boundless possibilities of the human spirit. Remember that your journey is uniquely yours, and every twist and turn is a sacred part of your story. Embrace the whispers of your soul, and may the echoes of our conversations linger in your heart, sparking a flame of self-discovery. Until we meet again in the realm of shared wisdom, stay true to your essence, stay connected to the rhythm of your soul, and always remember that you are a masterpiece in the making. Wishing you love, light, and infinite possibilities on your soulful journey. Until next time, this is Rory signing off with gratitude and reverence for the magic that resides in each and every one of you. Also, I want you to subscribe. So hit the subscribe button, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I need the subscriptions. I appreciate your support, and you all just keep shining.